Hi everyone, my name is Shalom Musushi. As some of you may know me on Instagram as I am known as Shaloshes. Ooh, I just fumbled a little bit. Anyways, it's been such a beautiful day. And I decided we need to talk a bit. So today we are going to be talking about, well, it's more of I have a question for you. And here's the question. Are you for you or are you against yourself? Let me ask that again. Are you for you or are you against yourself? The reason why I ask such a question is because a lot of people, we know ourselves, but only to a certain extent. Because there is this other self. In fact, let me describe. We have this person who wishes for success, the one who is so religious, the one who is either religious because you're praying or, you stay true to your principles and you are working and striving to be so successful. You set goals for yourself and you push yourself. You want prosperity. You want all the good things in life. And then you're also that person who prays and who fasts. So I'm talking to that you, and then there's this you. That is seemingly hidden because it's like it tells you you can't do it. Like when you actually get to trying something, you hear this voice. Oh, what if you fail? What if you fall? What if they laugh at you? You have all this doubt about yourself. I'm scared, I'm afraid. What if I am rejected? What if I am not accepted? This is why I ask you the question. Are you for you or are you against yourself? Or rather, should I add another question and say, or are you both? Today, I want to talk to you because in the world that we live in, we have so many talks on how to be in control of our own minds. Hence why I say thoughts become things, because that is something that we talk about in the world. Like we are being taught that be careful of what you think, how you think, and be mindful rather instead of careful, because we are trying to teach you that you should keep track on your emotions because they eventually tell you what you're thinking, what your chain of thoughts are. And then you have people who are trying to teach you mindfulness, who are telling you, ask yourself good questions every single day. Practice gratitude every single day. That is why I said thoughts become things, because we are being trained that whatever you think of is what you attract. And then the word of God says that in Proverbs, as a man thinketh, so is he. This is very clear. Our thoughts have the power to articulate or to come to existence, to come to fruition, to manifest whatever we will go through in our lives. Which is why we need to take control of our thoughts. Which is why you need to be a person who is in control of yourself. So I'm not criticizing someone who's sticking to their principles. In fact, that's very beautiful. However, what I want to ask you today is, are you for you or are you against yourself? Or are you both? Because at times you can think you're for you and you're fasting and doing all of those things, but you still have that voice that you tolerate. You still have that doubt that comes out in the middle of a crisis. You tell yourself you can't do it. Or when the fear is heightened, you don't feel that you can do it. That is what I want to talk about today. That's the man I want to talk to today. Because I want to tell you that you are able to do it. That let's change that I can't to I haven't yet. The power of yet. That word is so powerful. Because from now on, whenever you feel that you can't do something, you add the word yet. So you haven't done it yet. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It's simply you haven't tried it yet. What I'm trying to tell you is whatever you may face in life, because you see, I always love to give this illustration on my outlook on life, that I see life as a cycle, but it's also a cycle that goes up the stairs. And whilst you're oscillating through this cycle, if you don't learn the lesson, you will find yourself stuck in the same cycle, experiencing the same trials, complaining about the same things, having the same complaints. And you know what I'm saying? It's very true to a lot of people that we may know, people we relate to, people who've been complaining about the same trouble since they were 20. Maybe it's not paying rent or something like that, but why are you still complaining about the same thing? It means life is trying to teach you something. And because you haven't learned the lesson, because you're approaching whatever you're facing as a trial, and solely as a trial, you're unable to see it as something you can overcome, a lesson. Like, approach it with a mindset that says, this is a step forward. Which is why I always love to tell people that we are a species that is created to be moving forward. We are meant to be moving forward. Let's study the Bible for a bit from creation. God created in Genesis. And that was it. He made the heavens and the earth. He created the birds. Now look at us. We are in 2024. The world has skyscrapers, man-made. We have electricity. We realize that we can harness the energy in the atmosphere. Look at our creations, because we are meant to be moving forward. So instead of you succumbing to being an individual who says, I'm just like everyone else, just praising others, how about you say, what's the mark that I am going to leave in the world? But then here comes the question, how are you going to leave that mark if your mind is not right? First conquer this, then you can conquer the world. Do you know what I just told you? I'm showing you the power that a human being has. Someone who can work tirelessly for years on a light bulb because they have a vision in their mind. That's the power of the mind. People can call you crazy whilst you're working on that light bulb, but look at us now. We have light bulbs all over. We have fluorescent lights even. Because of that one man's idea, and he was called crazy in his time. But why did he stick to his crazy? Because his mind, he was in sync with his mind. His mind was opened, and he was in agreement with his mind. This is why I'm telling you that today is the day you start taking over your own mind. Be mindful of your thoughts. Tell yourself, ask yourself each and every day when you wake up. Don't wake up and be dreadful of the day and say, oh, I wish I could sleep some more. Instead, wake up and say, thank you, God, for the new day. Today, even if I don't feel like it, I'm at least going to do that 1%. That will make me move forward towards the goals that I've set for myself in life. Because you see, only when you have a clear vision of who you want to be, then you can set your mind to be that person. Because remember, we say, like attracts like. So that means even in your mind, your thoughts become things. It means you need to see it. Because even God says, as a man thinketh, so is he. You need to see clearly who you are. then embrace who you are. It doesn't mean that you're ignorant of where you are. It just means you're focused on where you're going. That means you're able to even in the middle of crisis right now, your finances are not going well or your family is not going well, you're still able to say, I am going through all this as a learning cave and I'm going to learn everything I'm supposed to learn. But as I am going through this, I know that it's another step, whereby after I learn my lesson, I'm a step toward my dream. So that means you don't stop putting in the work. Because that's also the other thing. You don't just pray for things and not do anything about it. Even God says, faith without works is nothing. You need to have faith and you need to work. So have faith in your work. Let's not be lazy. Let's not turn Christianity into some fantasy where people just pray for things and you don't work, as if our God did not instruct us on what to do and what not to do. In fact, after talking about this, before I finish up, I would like to remind you of something. And just forgive me, I'm going to just quickly open my phone because I don't want to miss anything here. I have a reminder for you. And this reminder is that, wow, you are not created in the image of your mistakes. Listen to me. You are not created in the image of your experiences. You are not created in the image of your mistakes. You're not created in the image of your parents' limitations or your parents' expectations. You're not created in the image of societal expectations as well as societal limitations. You're not created in the image of even who you think you really are. The reason why I say this is because a lot of us have this split personality where we believe in ourselves and yet we doubt ourselves too. Let me remind you, you are created in the image of God. And God says, I have known you by the hairs on your head since you were in your mother's womb. I have loved you. Then he says, my plans for you are to prosper you and not to fail you. He is a good God, and he has shown it through times and times again that if you follow him and if you seek the things of him, everything else will follow. And then he tells you that his grace is sufficient for you. Don't doubt him. Give him a chance. Because you know what? I have tried to give myself a chance. That's why I'm on this journey and I'm sharing this journey. And I noticed that, okay, I call myself such a powerful woman, but without Christ, I'm not really that light that God tells me that I am. When he says, you are the light of the world. And yet most of us, we are becoming dim and dim because of our experiences and because we are unable to heal. So let's take this journey together. Today, we are fixing our thoughts. Let's start being mindful of what we are thinking of, how we think of ourselves, the kind of questions we ask ourselves, and let's start turning it. Whenever you realize that I'm doubting myself, change it to I haven't, if it's doubt. And if it's a limitation, change it to what if I do it? What if I succeed? When you're busy asking yourself, what if I fail? Try thinking, what will I do when I succeed? What if the success overwhelms me? Because now when you're thinking like that, because our thoughts emit a frequency to the universe that brings about things into our existence. Now you're sending out thoughts of, what am I going to do when I succeed? That's positive thoughts and very direct thoughts. Starting today, let's work on our thoughts together and let's continue this conversation next time. With all my love, Shalom.